Something really strange is happening in our societies. Red pill guys attack women, feminists attack men. And while both are very loud on internet, teaching the younger generation how to deal or maybe ignore the opposite sex, men and women in general are becoming more and more disconnected from each other and more lonely. So in this video, I want to go beyond this, gender war, you can say, and actually talk about the consequences of those harmful ideologies, red pill and modern feminism. So if you look at the red pill guys, what they basically say is that female nature is not nice. Women are not responsible, you cannot really take them seriously, but somehow you have to deal with them, And also, they are not loyal in their nature and things like that. Yeah, basically, if you look at the modern feminists, what they say, very similar. Men in their nature are not nice, masculinity is actually toxic, so men are not responsible, not loyal. You don't really need a man, actually. You are better without. Yeah? If you really look closely, both agendas are talking about the same thing. The only difference is that they attack the opposite sex. And of course, it's sad that it's happening like this, but let's see what is behind this. Okay, feminism appeared with women trying to get the same rights as men, and that's a good thing. Yeah, we still live in the world where there are countries and places where women are second-class society. So it's still happening, and of course, in those countries, women should try to get their rights, so that they, as a human being, could have the same rights, to vote or to have ownership and things like that. So feminism, it's a good thing in general, but modern feminism went very far, to the point where women, we don't need men, Actually, its influence on the modern society is huge, even though it's more a Western problem, so to say. But now, if you look around the world, it's going to the East, and in some places in very, very extreme ways. In some places in the East, women decide not to ever have a boyfriend, not to ever have sex, not to ever marry, not to ever have kids, and so on, influenced by the modern feminism. So the damage from this ideology is really huge, and this is just an example, because we can see that men and women are becoming more and more lonely, especially feminists and red pill guys. They are the most lonely people, because they believe or they preach that their opposite sex nature is evil. And this is a big mistake. Male nature and female nature are very pure in its nature, Men are protectors, and providers. Yeah. Women, they give birth, they take care, they give space, warmth. Yeah, so both sexes are meant to complement each other in their qualities and in their nature. They both are beautiful and very attractive. So to say that the female nature or male nature is evil, that toxic, that masculinity or femininity is toxic, this is very against the nature, so to say. This is not natural to think like this. It's wrong, basically. Yeah, the same about men. And also red pill guys, for example, they even though they're guys, but they have some funny logic. They lack a little bit of logic would say. I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at those people. I'm sorry that they are suffering, if they really believe what they're saying. Because this is actually a big question, if they really believe what they're saying. Because maybe they are only there for business, because many of them sell some courses, and teach the younger generation how to be an alpha woman or alpha man. Maybe it's just about business. Maybe those people don't believe it, because to believe it is somehow, it's very hard to believe that people think this way, But nowadays, nothing surprises me anymore. So maybe some of them believe it, but for some of them, I'm sure it's just business, because drama sells. And so those drama queens and drama kings, I'm sure they're getting a lot of money, by selling those courses to the younger people. Yeah, also the red pill guys, for example, they say that women in the nature are not loyal, but actually in the nature, women are more loyal than men. It's always been like this, because for a woman to cheat, it has much more consequences than for a man. So naturally, men were less loyal, actually. It's only now in the West those numbers become more or less equal, that men and women cheat on the same level. But naturally, men cheat a little bit more. I'm not saying that men cheat. Mostly they don't, actually. But in general, they tend to cheat more because for them it's an easy, quick thing without consequences, mostly. And also, the logic of red pill guys when they say that women they have more sex in a way that they have more choices. Yes, women have more choices, and that's why they would not go for it. Women don't see sex as a bonus or something. It's only men who see sex this way. That's why men go for every opportunity compared to women. Of course, there are also men who have options, but the majority, average men, have much less options when it comes to sex. So they would go for every opportunity. As simple as that. Women naturally, in their nature, they don't go for sex. They go for, a relationship. Because she could get pregnant naturally, it can happen. It happens also nowadays, even though there are different protection and so on. Still, even when people cheat, they get pregnant because something happened, something went wrong there. Women don't want to get pregnant, so they will not go and cheat around, And man naturally actually wants to spread his genes. That's why he wants to have more sexual opportunities. That's natural. It's not better on. It's not man nature is evil or female nature is evil. It's just what is more natural for one sex and what is less natural for the other. So the logic of red pill guys, it's amazingly funny, And the logic of modern feminists is also what? We don't need men? Come on. Men provide everything we have. The buildings we sit in are built by men, including the construction, everything, Men are the ones who actually sacrifice themselves for women and children. Going to war or protecting in different ways, If you look at the firemen, they're men. And you know why? Because men are ready to sacrifice themselves. And also they are stronger physically. And they really are ready to go there and save somebody's life, even though they risk their life very much. Women don't go into fire most of the time. If they go, it's maybe one rare case in the history, you know. Men do it all the time. Like here on the coast, there are a lot of cases when people drown. Yeah, not a lot, but it happens. And you know who always saves somebody in these situations? It's always only men. It's only men. I never heard in so many years, every year somebody dies from drowning, and every year somebody is being saved. In all those years in my life, I never heard a case of a woman saving somebody drowning. It was always men, very often dying themselves, because after they save, they risk everything for saving to the point that they cannot, the point of no return, you know, they cannot save themselves. But they save the other person. Very often women or men, other men, or like teenagers, and you know, it's always men who protect. Mostly it's men. To say that we don't need men, or men are useless, you know, they are worse than women. I hear this in the West. Everything I say here is mostly relevant for the West. Just want to point it out, because somebody from a different part of the world might listen to this and say, Nadia, what are you saying? Nobody's thinking this way. Yes, people think this way in the West. And it influences the whole world. Many parts of the world are being influenced by those extreme ideologies like modern feminism and red pill. And we see that they both are rooted in pain and hurt. And again, the initial idea from red pill was probably good, I don't know, and from the feminists too, yeah. There is some initial idea, but then people like to go into extremes. I don't know why they do it. The confusion of the modern world is very huge. The more, the worse. Yeah. When it comes to confusion, it's extremely fast how the world is getting more and more confused, and how common sense is being lost, yeah, and forgotten as common sense. Many of those people who follow those ideologies, they are traumatized, yeah, and they need to heal themselves, actually, because even if they had a bad experience in life, and everybody has, all women, I'm a woman, I know what abuse is, or physical violence, and you know, I grew up in the 80s, in the 90s, in the Soviet Union and post-Soviet Russia. This was not easy times, okay? I've been through a lot. But it doesn't mean that I have now to revenge, you know? It's like the same is to say that, for example, that the nature of a dog is evil, because when I was young, one dog bit me and it was painful, you know? So you should never get a pet as a dog, because the dog can bite you and you will die, you know? And it sounds like truth, you know? Yes, the dog can bite you. Yes, you can die. Yeah. Because there are some crazy dogs, I guess, just like crazy women and crazy men. There are, yes, mentally sick. But it doesn't mean that the dog's nature is evil and you should never get a pet as a dog. And a pet owner would say, it's bullshit. I have a dog and we have a lovely relationship. What are you talking about? The dog's nature is evil. And it's really not true. The dog nature is not evil. But yes, it can bite. Theoretically, it's possible, just like with people, yeah? It doesn't mean we have to close up and to go away from each other. I mean, it doesn't mean that we should not live our life because it can be hurting sometimes, Yeah, we should close ourselves in our home and never go out. This could be another extreme. How to save yourself from the opposite sex or a dog. When we look at the consequences of those ideologies, we could see that now younger generation, actually not my generation and older, I'm from Gen X, these analog generations, we had the opportunity not to be brainwashed by social media as we grow up, because there was no social media. There was only common sense. And now, because we have tools like social media and now artificial intelligence, this is much more powerful even. Nowadays, for the younger generations, the influence is, and damage, possible damage, is really huge. So, like my generation and above were not influenced that much. But the new generations, when they listen on social media and so on from those modern feminists and red pill guys about all the evil nature of the opposite sex, what do? They decide to not to even try. They don't approach anymore, compared to how we did it, young men don't approach women, women also don't trust men. So they decide not even to try, but to use their women, like in a female case, to use their sexuality as a business, like OnlyFans or something. Sexual work became so normal nowadays for younger generations. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Especially in the US, OnlyFans are very, very popular. I don't know what went wrong there, but this is exactly the place where red pill guys and feminists are very strong. Maybe it's connected, that younger generation decide not even to try because it's meaningless, to try to have a genuine, authentic relationship with the opposite sex. Instead, they go online and sell their intimacy, and young men go to those websites and buy this intimacy, So this is what's actually happening now. This is how those ideas influence younger minds. And there are other reasons also, but this one, everything which is trying to show that the opposite sex is evil, everything, any kind of ideology like this, is adding to this trend of men and women, young men and women, not trusting each other. Because you need trust for a relationship. Trust and respect are like the basement of a relationship. And if you believe, if you're brainwashed that the opposite sex, you cannot trust, you cannot respect this. Like red pill guys, women, you cannot take them seriously. It's the same feminists, like men, evil, dangerous, evil creatures. If you don't have trust, if you don't have respect for the opposite sex, of course, then there is no chance for you for a genuine relationship. I think it's good that those red pill gurus and feminist gurus become a little bit more aware of the damage they are doing to our societies. It's not only them, but everything that makes this society more lonely, this world more lonely, men and women go away from each other. It's a big damage, and it's a big trend nowadays, what's happening. And now, the even younger generation decide not even to go to OnlyFans, but, to AI girlfriends instead. I guess boyfriends should also come in, but somehow girlfriend. I had one video I think 2 months ago, something, I called it artificial women, where I said that men will be the first to go for artificial. Yeah, men will be the first, and that's happening. It's artificial girls that becoming so popular. Men, yeah, that's happening this way. Something that looks beautiful, talks kind, even though it's fake, it's not real, it's not alive, this AI girlfriend. But young generation, like children, they fall into this trap. Because they go online and they hear about the opposite sex only bad things, And then they decide, okay, this artificial girl looks more genuine and more kind, so maybe I just stick to it. I think we should have more voices on internet saying something else about the opposite sex. We need to have some more common sense. Common sense as we remember it, because nowadays it's not common anymore. We need to go back to the roots, to the analog ways. This is what's happening is very harmful to the younger generation, to the kids. And it's all together, it's a disaster, Anyway, tell me what you think about red pill and modern feminism ideologies. Do you see any differences between those? And it's funny because red pill guys very often they attack feminists, and they don't even see that they are behaving the same way as feminists, that they're doing the same thing to the opposite sex. Do they really not see that? I would love to be wrong here, So tell me where I'm wrong. I would love to hear that, actually. I want to have more hope. Maybe I'm very I don't see something. And I would say to those people who were bit by the dog, or hurt by a woman, or hurt by a man, you need to heal yourself. Okay? That's probably a good solution. Go and heal yourself. Because you have the chance for a genuine relationship with the opposite sex. But you need trust, you need respect, you need to open up, and not be armed, like armor. You go home with the armor on yourself and go to bed with the armor to make sure that the opposite sex is not going to hurt you. This is not the genuine approach to the opposite sex. And of course, you will get hurt from time to time, and you should learn how to see red flags, how to protect your boundaries. You have to learn this all. But you have a chance for a good relationship. Don't give up that easily. You have a chance. Work on yourself. Heal yourself, take care, make sure you improve, you learn, and then go and live life to the fullest, especially young people. Come on. I mean, older people, they had it all already and still having, At least either they have it or they remember it. But younger, many don't even know what it feels like, and brainwashed so easily by some charismatic, dramatic queens and kings. Yeah, this was not a very positive video, but what to say? We have to speak the difficult things too. It's a grown-up community here for mature people who want some clarity in this world, who are ready to remember what the real life is and what truth actually is, not to get confused more and more. Such a confusion, such an illusion, So if you're new here and you are ready for mature conversations and you appreciate real human contact, then I'm here for you. Consider subscribing. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I would love also to see you in another video. See you there.